Hello everyone, my name is Shubham back with a new video, and in this video we are going to do this room called Bounty Hacker. Before any further ado, let's get into this room. Let me quickly click on that button which is Start Lab Machine because it will take some time to boot up that machine and give us our IP address. So, Bounty Hacker, you talked a big game about being the most elite hacker in the solar system. Prove it and claim your right to the status of elite bounty hacker. So I'm not saying myself that I'm an elite hacker. I'm just a learner. Let's go with this room. So this will tell us it will take 45 minutes in order to complete this room, and it is marked as easy room. If you want to follow along with me, you can do that now. Just go to your TryHackMe account and boot up your machine, which is Kali Linux, and start hacking alongside with me, because you can watch this video and learn a lot of things, but if you do the things that I'm doing in this video, you can learn more by doing on yourself. So let's get back into this room. Enough talking, and this is our IP address that we are going to deal with. So let me copy it, and let's first resolve this IP address to a name so that we don't have to type this IP address again and again. So let me pull up my etc host file by sudo nano etc hosts. Let me add my password and press enter. Okay. So here what we have to do is paste the IP address and assign a name to this. Let me call this name bounty.thm, and remember Control X, Y, and enter. That's how you can save a file inside Nano. Let me cat this file so that we can see everything is okay. So cat etc hosts, and you can see here is our IP address and the name, which is Bounty Hacker. Let's first ping that machine so that we can see if it's up or not. So bounty.thm, and here you can see we are not getting the pings back. Let me close that because I haven't set up the OpenVPN with the TryHackMe platform. So let me do that, and how we can do that is, let me change the directory to TryHackMe and list the files, and here you can see my ShubhamSec.ovpn file. Let me start that using sudo open vpn and the name of the file, that is shubham ovpn. Press enter, and here you can see initialization sequence completed. Let me rename this tab to vpn, and you know that, and how we can rename our tabs uh, by using the key combination, which is alt shift and s. And if you want to add a tab, just press Ctrl Shift T. So again ping that machine. Let me first amp up the text, bounty.thm. So we are getting our pings back. Let me cancel that. It shows that our machine is up and we are getting the connection. So let me clear the screen and starts our basic enumeration using Nmap scan. Let me first create a directory by using mkdir command, make directory, and the name of the directory is bounty hacker. And let me list the items and get into that directory, and let's make another directory named Nmap, so that whatever the result we get from Nmap will be stored inside that folder. So once again, clear the screen and start our Nmap scan. But before we do that, let me rename that tab to Nmap. So that's done. And now Nmap tag sc for default scripts, dash sv for enumerating the versions, and tag o capital N Nmap initial. So that last tag, which is on, will output the results of the Nmap scan in the file which is initial inside the Nmap directory. Let me press enter, and we haven't supplied the IP address or the domain name, and our domain name is bounty.thm that we have just set inside our etc hosts file. So let's see what we get from that Nmap scan. And while this does its thing, let's go back to uh, the room and see what we have to do next. You were boasted on and on about your elite hacking skills in the bar, and a few bounty hunters decided they take you up on claims. Prove your status is more than just a few glasses at the bar. I sense bell peppers and beef in your future. So let me again tell you, by no means I am an elite hacker, but I know some things, and that's how we are going to do in this room. So deploy the machine. We have done that. Let me mute so that we don't see any annoyed notifications sound. Find open ports on the machine. So we are searching those open ports using our Nmap scan, and here is our result. So you can see that 21 is open, which is FTP, and this is the version of the FTP that is running, which is VS FTPD. The second port is 22, which is SSH. The third port is 80, which is a web server. You can conclude that by this HTTP tag. And we don't have any credentials, so we are not going to do anything with SSH for now. So if you have a set of credentials like for example John, and the password is password 123, what you have to do is SSH. Just take it as an example. What is our domain? That is bounty.thm at John, and after pressing enter it will ask you for your password, but we don't have any password for now. So let me tell you one more thing, that whenever you see 21, which is FTP, and it's open right now, so you have to check first that if the anonymous access to the FTP server is available. So how we can do that? There is a command for that, is FTP and then the domain name, which is bounty.thm. Let's see if we get. Okay, so now it's asking us for the name. So let me give it a name called anonymous. And here you can see we are inside the FTP. By you can see that FTP and the caret sign or greater than sign. Yes, greater than sign, not caret sign. So we are inside FTP. And if I type ls, it will show the list of the items that are present in the current directory. And if you want to list the hidden items, you just press ls with la tag. So if there is any hidden files, that will be shown using this command, that is la. Let me see if we get anything. And I don't think that we have more than two files. The one is logs.txt and the other one is task.txt. So let's see if we can download these files, and how you can download these files from FTP by using the get command. And you have to just press get and logs. It freezes, I don't know why. Logs.txt, okay, it's up. Press enter and port command successful. We have successfully downloaded that file. Let me download the next file by using the same command, which is get task task.txt, and it's done. Let me close that connection by Control C. It won't work. Let me exit out of it, and we are back to our current directory. ls to that current directory, it will show the two files, which is logs.txt and tasks.txt. Let me see the content of the first file, which is logs.txt. So these strings, as we are seeing, it looks like passwords for me. And let's see if we can use those passwords to any user, but we don't have any user right now. So we have another file, which is task.txt. Let me cat the content of that file by using the cat command, task.txt. And here you can see the first point is protect vicious. So maybe vicious is a user in that machine, I think. And the second point is plan for red eye pickup on the moon. I don't know what they are talking about, but these uh, these lines is written by Lin, as you can see here. So maybe we have two users. One is Lin, and the other one is Vicious. So uh, until this point, what we have concluded by enumerating this machine is we have some set of password strings that you are seeing here. And the other thing is we have two users. One is Lin and the other one is Vicious. I don't know if this is a user or not, but Lin is definitely a user. So let me clear that screen. Now, how we can go further from here? Let me tell you how. So if you remember from our Nmap scan that we have done earlier, we have a port which is 22 and its SSH that is open. Let me show you. Let me pull up that scan that we have done earlier. So go to the Nmap directory and cat initial. So here you can see that we have SSH in open state. And we know that if we have that port which is 22 and it's open and we have a user and a password, but the first step from here is to try to log in through SSH. So how we can do that? Let me go back a step and ls. Here we can see we have password list, which is logs.txt. And now what I'm going to do is, in order to log in to SSH using the Lin user, I'm going to use each and every password from this list and try it one by one. That is also called password brute forcing, but it's a tedious task. So how we can automate this process? So we can automate this process using the framework, which is Metasploit. And in order to start the Metasploit framework, we have to supply that command, which is msf console, and it will start the Metasploit framework, and it's up now. Let me search here for SSH login. Maybe we can get something. And here you can see Let me zoom out a little bit and fire that command again so that it is easier for you to see. Here you can see SSH login, and we have 16 results, and this is SSH KRAF login SSH. But what is looking interesting for us is this 13, which is auxiliary scanner SSH and SSH login. So if you want to use that module, what you have to do is just type use and the serial number, or you can say its number, which is 13, and press enter. Now you can see you are in that module. Let me clear the screen once again, and if you type show options, or maybe just type options, it will show you the options that this module will take in order to do what we want this module to do. So key pass, which is not required, and what we have is pass file, our host, and a username. And let me assign these things to this module. So how we can do that? We can do that by using the set command. So set pass underscore file, and what is going to go here is the password list that we gather from the FTP, which was port 21. And let me locate that file. It's in my home, ShubhamSec, TryHackMe, and Bounty Hacker, and the name of the file, that is logs.txt. Let's press enter and set that logs.txt file to pass file. Now let's again set our hosts, which is the bounty hacker, that this is the IP address that we resolved to bounty.thm earlier in this room. So set our hosts to bounty.thm, press enter, and after that we have to set the username. So press set username, and the username that we have is Lin. Press enter, and let's see what other options we have. We don't have a user file because we have a single user, and that is Lin, and it says verbose. So let's set verbose to true so that we are not staring at a screen without any output. So verbose, what it does is it shows what it's doing behind the scenes. So let's set verbose to true, press enter, and again, let's see everything is set up properly using the show options command. And here you can see pass file is set to logs.txt, our hosts, that is bounty.thm, username, which is Lin, and verbose is equal to true. Now the last command, which is exploit, or you can also supply the command which is run, but exploit looks better. Let me press enter, and you can see it start brute forcing those password lists one by one to in order to brute force the SSH login using that user, which is Lin. So you can see failed, 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 and it's going through that list one by one. So we have to wait for that. And while it does its thing, let me go and see what is running on that port, which is 80. So http colon slash slash bounty.thm, and there is a picture and we have some text. So this is also looks like a user to me, spike, jet, and add and pay. So we can also use these users inside a list like the password list that is logs.txt, and then supply user file uh, in that option that we see just earlier, a user file and a password file, and we can give that to the Metasploit in order to brute force that SSH login. So let's see where our scan, uh, and you can see it says success. So lin, and the password is this. So we are successfully brute forced that password list with the user lin. And now let me copy this and save it. Let me first exit out of the Metasploit, exit dash y, clear the screen once again, and let me try to log in to SH, but let's save those credentials that we just harvest from the uh, Metasploit brute forcing. So how we can do that? By using echo command. So echo, and in inverted commas we put that ID password, and let's give let's save these password into a file called creds.txt. Press enter at creds.txt, and here you can see we have the combination of username and password. And now we are going to log in through SSH. So let's press SSH, and username, which is lin at bounty.thm, and press enter. And here will go yes, and it says for the password, and we have that password. Let me copy that password and paste it here and press enter. And we are in that machine. So clear the screen. Now what we have is an initial foothold to that machine. What are the further steps that we have to do from here, or what we should do in order to escalate our privileges from this lin user to a root user? So first we have to check if this user is running anything as root, and how we can do that by using the command which is sudo -l. And let's press enter, and let's give the password of the lin user. And here you can see the user which is lin is able to run tar binary as a root. If we don't get anything like this, so what we have to do is we have to search for the permissions that this user have. And how you can do that? By using the find command, using find at root and permissions 4000. This way you can conclude some of the files that are unusual, and you can go through that route. But we don't have to do that, because we know that what we have is our user, which is lin, is able to root tar command as root. So from here, what you have to do is go to our handy dandy website, which is GTFOBins, in order to escalate your privileges by exploiting the binaries. So in this website, let's search for that tar binary, and here you can see we have that. And now this function can be performed by any unprivileged users in order to escalate his permissions to root. So let's copy it and go back to my terminal, and here press sudo and paste that command and press enter. And here you can see we are root and we are escalate our privileges to root user. Now let's quickly prove that by using who am I command, and you can see we are root. Now let's go back and see what are the questions that we have to enter in order to complete this room. So find open ports on the machine. We have done that. Who wrote the task lists? So that is the lin user, and that's correct. What service can you brute force with the text file found? That is SSH. You saw that. And what is the user's password? Let me quickly grab the user's password. Let me open another tab, ls, and cat threads that we have saved here. Copy this, Control Shift C, and slap that in, and that's the correct password. User.text. So this step is pending. So we have to go back from root user to lin user in order to get the user flag of lin. But let's grab root text. From here, let me see the present working directory by using pwd, and awesome, not awesome. We have to go back to the home directory of the root user. Cd dot again plus cd to root, press enter, ls, and cat the root dot text file. And this is the flag that we are supposed to put here. And yes, that's the correct answer. Now let me quickly grab the user's text. So let's first exit out of here. This is the lin user and ls, and that's the user text. So cat user dot text and thm crime syndicate. So copy that and paste that flag here and mark that room. Done. And congratulations, you are now bounty hacker. So in this room you can see a lot of things, how you can brute force IDs and passwords using SSH, and you see how we can elevate our privileges from a normal user, which is lin, to a root user, which is the highly privileged user in Linux systems, and how we can compromise that machine by using by exploiting the binary, which is tar. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I will meet you in the next video in our cybersecurity learning roadmap series, where I am going through step by step. Each step is a very important step in order to become a good hacker or a security person. So now we meet in our cybersecurity learning roadmap series, and I will do this type of videos occasionally in this channel so that you can taste how hacking looks like, and this will give you a kick that you are doing some hacking. And if you do enjoy this video, let's go with the usual drill, which is like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. And I will meet you in the next video. So bye bye, take care and stay safe.